Terence Crawford's preparation for a fight against someone like Canelo Alvarez isn't just about showing up at the gym. It's a masterclass in discipline, precision, and strategy. Every training session is designed with one goal in mind: to be at his absolute best. When the bell rings, from the moment he steps into the gym, the energy is electric. With Crawford laser focused on the task ahead, the core of his training revolves around sparring. Crawford's sparring sessions are notoriously intense, often resembling mini-wars in the ring. His team brings in sparring partners who emulate Canelo's style, fighters with a powerful, aggressive approach, sharp counterpunching, and relentless pressure. Each round is a battle of wits and endurance, as Crawford works on his timing, testing his ability to slip punches and respond with precision counters. These sessions aren't just about physical preparation, they're mental battles that sharpen his instincts and decision-making under fire when he's not sparring. Crawford spends hours refining his craft on the mat. His coach uses these sessions to simulate real fight scenarios, pushing Crawford to unleash combinations that exploit potential gaps in Canelo's defense. It's a constant back and forth, with Crawford absorbing feedback and making micro adjustments to perfect his technique. Whether it's a rapid series of hooks and uppercuts or a single devastating body shot, every punch has a purpose. The heavy bag is another essential part of Crawford's regimen. Here he focuses on power and endurance, unleashing punch after punch to build the kind of force that can turn a fight in an instant. These sessions are grueling, testing both his physical limits and his mental fortitude. Crawford isn't just throwing punches. He's visualizing the fight, imagining Canelo across from him, and practicing how he'll react to every scenario. Footwork drills are a major focus as well, especially against an opponent like Canelo, who is known for his ring IQ and ability to cut off the ring. Crawford spends hours working on his lateral movement, pivoting and angling to ensure he can stay one step ahead. The speed and precision of his footwork allow him to create openings and control the pace of a fight, turning the ring into his domain. Defense is another area where Crawford excels, and his training reflects that he practices slipping punches, rolling under hooks, and blocking combinations with precision. His head movement is sharp and unpredictable, a skill that has frustrated opponents for years. Every defensive drill is about staying elusive, making his opponent miss, and creating opportunities to counter. Conditioning plays a massive role in Crawford's preparation. Boxing isn't just about skill, it's about having the stamina to maintain a high level of performance for 12 grueling rounds. Crawford's training includes high-intensity interval drills, explosive plyometric exercises, and grueling endurance circuits designed to simulate the demands of a fight. By the time he steps into the ring, his is a finely tuned machine capable of sustaining the relentless pace. Crawford also dedicates significant time to studying Canelo's previous fights with his team. He analyzes every movement, from the way Canelo sets up his power shots to how he defends against different styles. They dissect his tendencies, looking for patterns or habits that can be exploited. This strategic preparation is just as critical as the physical training, ensuring that Crawford steps into the ring with not just a plan, but a deep understanding of his opponent. For Crawford, every session is about building the perfect balance of power, speed, endurance, and strategy. It's this meticulous approach that has made him one of boxing's most formidable fighters against Canelo Alvarez. A living legend of the sport, Crawford knows that every ounce of preparation will be tested, and if his training is any indication, he's ready for the challenge. According to Combat, Tazo, Mexican boxing legend Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have decided to square off in Las Vegas this September. Talksport.com reported that speculation is swirling about a potential clash between two of the era's top fighters, following separate meetings with Saudi boxing chief Turki Alal Sheikh during the weekend's Ring Magazine Awards in London. Crawford has previously stated that he would jump up 2 weight classes to 168 pounds in order to fight Alvarez. Alvarez 34 boasts an impressive career record of February 2nd, 62, with world titles across 4 different weight divisions, renowned for his dominant 2011 outcome in a high-profile trilogy against Gennady Golovkin. He most recently stepped into the ring in September, securing a unanimous decision victory over Edgar Berlanga. Crawford, 37, boasts an unblemished 410 record and has held world titles across 4 weight divisions in his most recent bout back in August. He secured a decisive victory over Israel Madamu by unanimous decision, claiming the WBA and WBO interim light middleweight belts. It appears that Canelo Alvarez has opened the door to a money-spinning showdown with Terence Crawford. Meanwhile, William Skull claims that his camp has been approached regarding a fight for unification, and David Benz's name has been floated after Canelo declined to face Skull, his required opponent. He was deprived of the IBF belt. However, Alvarez has now spoken up, and the battle that fans want to see is against 37-year-old American Crawford. He told Ring Magazine, "There's always a chance there we'll see, but there's always a chance there we're here to make the best deals. And there's always the chance with a 410 record. Crawford has won world titles in 4 different weight classes, ranging from light middleweight to lightweight. A sizable reward would be necessary to persuade him to go in combat with the dangerous southpaw," as Alvarez indicated. However, Turki Alal Sheikh,
if your modem can't do it,
I can't get my $300.
look, he don't understand how it works.
I can't get my
Miguel know how it works. Miguel.
I can't get my $300.
You know, it's business, it's the office. I enjoy it because this is what I love to do. You know, I've been boxing since I was 7. This is pretty much all I know. I look at myself as a complete fighter. There's pretty much nothing I can't do in the ring. I can fight going forward. I can fight going backwards. I can fight going side to side. I can box. I can counterpunch. I can slug it out. I can switch from orthodox to southpaw.
Is eager for the fight to take place, so supporters might get their desire. Alik has listed 5 bouts that he hopes to witness before 2025 is over. I want to see Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. I want to see, of course, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. He said on Fran Fighting, he added, "I want to see Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. And I also want to see Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, the rematch for Alexander Usyk. He will wait for the card of February. He has said he wants to fight 1 or 2 fights more. And I would like to see the rematch ever after Canelo defeated Berlanga." Crawford has been criticizing the Mexican EO Turkey. "Tell them we are going to go for Canelo next," he said. On an Instagram live video following Canelo's dominant win over Berlanga, the camera was then turned to Alik, who replied, "Yes, let's go Canelo. Come on, we are ready." Crawford added, "You heard it from him, just put me in the game." Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight in boxing, but we stay ready. Though we stay ready that way. We ain't got to get ready. Canelo and Crawford might cross paths at a catch weight, though the American has expressed his willingness to jump up to 168 pounds to secure the showdown. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford has spoken for the first time since it was reported that a fight against Canelo Alvarez was agreed. Both fighters now appearing revitalized and re-energized after their recent clashes sparked renewed hope as the year kicked off, fueling speculation that a showdown could finally happen in the months ahead. Crawford and Canelo recently met with Saudi Arabia's Turki Al Alik, and reports now suggest that an agreement has been finalized, setting the stage for a high-stakes mega fight. Bud has broken his silence following reports of the bout being finalized, taking to social media to express his unwavering belief in securing victory. He said, "I am a shock the world watch, the best is yet to come. I had it in my back pocket this whole time." Crawford pulling off a win against Canelo would surely shock many given the significant challenge of climbing 2 more weight classes from 154 pounds to 168 pounds. Crawford has stepped into the super welterweight division just once since moving up from 147 pounds before this. He held the undisputed welterweight title after conquering his longtime rival Errol Spence Jr. Meanwhile, promoters are collaborating to make the largest and finest fights possible worldwide, putting politics aside. Riyadh season a major Saudi entertainment.
We gotta know, Terence Crawford can't be beat, and you know damn well Canelo can't be beat. I mean, he lost a few times, but that was here, no there. But Terence Crawford, Canelo, I gotta know who y'all got. I know who I got.
Entertainment event has become a hotspot for numerous high-profile fights, some of which have also taken place at Wembley in the UK and Stadium in the US. A leak will lead a drive for other major events. The first major event of the year takes place on February 22nd, spotlighting the highly anticipated rematch between Bearer Bev and Bivil, alongside exciting bouts featuring Daniel Dubois and Shakur Stevenson. Turkey ought to turn up the heat, insisting that Crawford take down David Benavidez. As a prerequisite for that lucrative showdown, let Terence face Benavidez first, and demonstrate he truly deserves a shot at the throne against King Canelo. It's shaping up to be that kind of lopsided contest, honestly. I'm just crossing my fingers that Turkey offers it at a bargain on PPV, because, let's face it, this is likely to be one-sided and worse dull, especially if Crawford sticks to the Mayweather game plan from his 2013 bout. With Alvarez, Crawford's trainer Brian B.S. McIntyre has already confirmed they'll adopt the same approach box move and clinch Canelo all night long if they stick to that strategy. As rigidly as Basie suggests, viewers are in for a painfully tedious spectacle. It's going to be the textbook definition of visual torture. Everybody that fans wouldn't mind watching Canelo versus Crawford if it's included in a regular DAZN subscription, because frankly it's more spectac in sport. Crawford only just stepped up to 154 and his performance wasn't exactly stellar. Now he's supposed to jump 2 more weight classes without any real preparation. No experience at the new weight, no tune-up fights, and certainly no merit for a title shot just to face Canelo. It's absurd. Turkey should politely but firmly let Crawford know that if he's serious about chasing a payday in a Canelo showdown, he'll need to prove he's got the grit by stepping into the ring with someone like Morrell or Benavidez first. It's about earning the right to stand before the king. Former 4-division world champion Crawford appeared surprisingly ordinary last August when he stepped up from 147 to 154 pounds, aiming to dethrone WBA title holder Israel Madrimov. Crawford's performance left much to be desired, as he had to mount a late rally to scrape by with a 12-round unanimous decision over Madrimov. Had Madrimov realized the urgency of pressing the action instead of relying on sporadic pot shots, the outcome might have been different. The 40-some aura Crawford exuded in the rim made it clear he'd reached the limits of his abilities, or move to 168 to square off against Benavidez. The game would be over. He'd be overwhelmed, outmatched by their superior size. Youthful energy and elite skill opinions are divided on whether 37-year-old Crawford securing a bout with Canelo benefits boxing or signals its continued decline into spectacle rather than sport. In a true competitive environment, Crawford would need to climb the ranks by overcoming formidable contenders before reaching this elite matchup. The structure would involve a season playoffs and ultimately the finals. Yet Crawford seems to bypass all of this, skipping over contenders who could very well defeat him in the context of an exhibition. This might be justifiable, but this isn't an exhibition. Crawford is stepping up 2 weight divisions to challenge Canelo for the WBA, WBC, and WBO super middleweight titles in September, an opportunity that seems questionable at best. How is this even? Crawford seems to be in his own version of Edgar Berlanga spotlight, about to cash in on a huge payday he doesn't deserve against Canelo at 168. He's talking nonsense to convince fans he has a shot in this fight. But we all know the reality. Terence is going to stick to his usual strategy of boxing and moving too small and past his prime to brawl. It's clear that Crawford is more focused on the fortune coming his way. Basking in the euphoria of an unexpected windfall, it's like he just hit the jackpot. He's probably incredibly grateful for that big payday if it weren't for this opportunity handed to him by Turkey. Al-Sheikh Crawford would still be grinding at 154. This isn't the faded, sluggish version of Errol Spence that Crawford is facing. Canelo remains an active and formidable force in the ring, still as lethal as ever. Like an M93 Hornet landmine, Canelo is primed to explode on the Nebraska native if he dares to underestimate him. Crawford is most likely to follow his trainer Brian B.S. McIntyre's strategy of employing movement and emulating Dimitri Bivol and Mayweather's strategy against Canelo. Crawford, soon to turn 38, claims he's been keeping his true potential tucked away in his back pocket this whole time. But that's tough to swallow when you recall how he absorbed brutal right hands from Israel Madoff last August, nearly losing in his debut at 154 pounds in that bout. Terence appeared sluggish, undersized, and vulnerable. I don't think it's a fight that Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight, and Crawford is gonna move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo, said Eddie Hearn to Fight Hub TV, reacting to the news of Canelo Alvarez fighting Terence Crawford in September. Hearn added, "What's Canelo's options if Bivol wins against Artur BBV on February 22nd? He can fight for undisputed. That's going to be a very tough fight. Benovitz is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight. So I guess we could see it next." However, Floyd Mayweather's verdict on Canelo Alvarez's power may certainly interest Terence Crawford in September 2013. Mayweather and Canelo faced off in a much-awaited fight in Las Vegas, where Alvarez was 4,201 and unbeaten, with a bout against fellow pound-for-pound legend Crawford reportedly agreed on for later this year. He now appears to be prepared to participate in another major boxing match. Certain analysts argue that the weight disparity might prove too challenging for Crawford, as he would be moving up from 154 pounds to 168 pounds for the bout, with just one previous appearance in the super welterweight category. Given Canelo's natural size advantage over Crawford, many believe this could lead to a dominant knockout victory for the Mexican fighter, reminiscent of his bout with Amir Khan, who, like Crawford, had stepped up 2 weight classes for the matchup. Keeping that in consideration, Mayweather shared his thoughts on Canelo's power after their fight, responding to whether he had been worried about it before the match. He said not at all in the ring. He went on to say that it was nothing he had never experienced before. He said, "It's nothing I never felt before after being in the sport over 20 years. Mayweather's remarks could boost Crawford's confidence, particularly as Canelo has struggled to finish his last 5 opponents. The last fighter to defeat Alvarez was Dimitri Bol in 2022, and he has shared his thoughts on how the upcoming bout with Crawford will unfold. If the bout is confirmed, a goal that Riyadh Seasons Turkey Alik is tirelessly working to secure it will unfold in the super middleweight division. This is familiar territory for Canelo, who has ruled there for several years. But uncharted waters for Crawford. A common belief in the sport is that the 14-pound weight jump, should Crawford choose to meet the 168-pound limit, may be too significant even for a fighter of his exceptional talents. Shakur Stevenson, a 3-weight world champion and Crawford's close friend and training partner, is more familiar with Crawford's level than others. In an interview with Boxing News, Stevenson weighed in on the prospect of Canelo suffering his 3rd defeat in 66 bouts, stating, "If anyone can do it, it's Crawford." However, he made sure to separate his personal bond with Bud from his analysis, acknowledging that it would be a formidable challenge. He added, "I think it's very difficult. Canelo's got the IQ, he's got the size, he's got the power. Maybe it's a very difficult fight, but I think if anybody can get it done, it's Terence Crawford." Supporters eagerly await information on the matchup, which appeared so distant a year ago, but now seems so close. Alec has posted a photo with every individual over the past few days. And according to Julius Julianis from ESPN to PES, a deal is currently being discussed for a headline event in September, set to occur at 168B. The matchup will compel the American to step up 2 weight classes from his previous fight, where he triumphed over the former WBA super welterweight champion Israel Madov in his debut at 154 pounds. Abel Sanchez, the former trainer of Gennady Golovkin, is someone who truly understands the intense preparation required for a Canelo Alvarez fight. Sanchez had front row experience in the memorable trilogy between G and Canelo, where the first bout ended in a contentious draw, and the subsequent 2 saw the Mexican champion emerge victorious. In an interview with KO artist Sports, Sanchez dismissed the idea of a Crawford-Canelo showdown, labeling it as not a legitimate fight. He expressed doubt about the smaller fighter's chances, even going so far as to describe the matchup as absurd. He said, "It's a ridiculous fight because I said it a while ago. Crawford is a great fighter, but he's been the same fighter from 135 to 147. He's still the same fighter. He hasn't changed anything to make him viable at the bigger weights. But Crawford hasn't been destroying his opponents. He destroyed one who was a shell of his former self, but Canelo is destroying everybody that he fights, destroying them, but Crawford's not. Yes, it's a good money fight, but not a real fight." On the other hand, Timothy Bradley Jr. believes that Terence Terence Crawford would defeat Saul Canelo. Alvarez Bradley made a case for Crawford on his YouTube channel. Everyone keeps talking about the weight, Bradley said. And indeed, Crawford only recently left welterweight for 154 pounds, while Alvarez has fought at 168 pounds since late 2020. Oh, he's gonna knock him out. When the hell was the last time Canelo knocked somebody out? It's been some time since Alvarez's last stoppage, which came against Caleb Plant in November 2021. Since then, he struggled to deliver a knockout against top-tier opponents like Dmitry Bivol in a defeat and a 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin. However, he has also gone the full distance with fighters who many considered outmatched, although he never posed a real challenge to the reigning super middleweight champion. Bradley said y'all can quit with that. He's going to knock Crawford out. Come on, man. Didn't we just see somebody like Alexander Usyk fight a guy like Tyson Fury who was quote-unquote 50 pounds heavier? Canelo's the same height as Crawford. He's not a natural one. 68 pounds, Usyk is a great fighter. Absolutely, but you know who else is a great one is Crawford. The great ones know how to figure it out. So that's all from today's video.